Frugal Force. Once again, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty for another episode of Road Rage. Now, before I get into this, if you do enjoy these videos, please be sure to hit like and subscribe and hit that notifications bell. That way, that was me opening my window there for a second there to let a mosquito out. But anyway, hit that notifications bell, so hopefully that YouTube will actually tell you that I have a video out. But even then, from a lot of people telling me they are not good for doing that. YouTube hates me. We do have a link in the info bar down below for our Patreon, where you can join our Patreon for as little as $1 a month. And we also do like to give back, so be sure to check and put your address in there if you're comfortable doing that and things like that, because you might be a prize winner of just a little trinket of a thank you from the Frugal Force. All right, with that said, recently I've been talking about how the market is showing. Sorry, you hear my GPS reminding me to turn. The market is showing what is selling and what is not. Plain and simple. And these SJW books, as we all know, are not selling. That's nothing new, right? And I've already mentioned in another video recently too that it seems like the new Marvel under C.B. Cebulski is just now again more the same. So new in name, but everything is the same. And it's idiocracy, if you will, to assume that repeating the same silly thing is going to have a different outcome. I mentioned some of the books, same kind of thing. We still have Unworthy Thor and everything, so let's not beat on that. We got the same thing. So we see more companies, I mentioned, starting up an independence there, and that's great and fine too, but what if that's not your cup of tea? Well, don't forget also the comic book stores. We want them to survive. If you want your local comic book store to still be around, they're going to need to make money. And if Marvel isn't willing to make a product that's going to sell right now, what do? Well, don't forget, just because you want your Spider-Man fix, your Captain America fix, Avengers, Hulk, whatever it is, it doesn't mean you're still lost. Don't forget the back issues. That's the point of this video. Hit those back issue bins. It's bargain time, right? If you can't get a new book right now because the new book sucks, well, there's a good chance that there's a lot of back issues for that series that you haven't read. And there's also some good alternatives. So for example, if you are a Thor fan, right, and the Thor book is not your bag right now because it's nothing but a bag of hammers. Yeah, pun intended of the stupid hammer part there. Well, look at Thor back issues. Thor has a plethora of back issues and great things. Heck, if you even want to try a different character as Thor, because you like to switch things up, I strongly suggest checking out the Thunderstrike books. That's where you have Eric Masterson as Thor, and you get Thor done right. He's not superior to Thor in every way. Matter of fact, it's the exact opposite. There's a learning curve. He doesn't know what he's doing, and so he's fumbling his way through. Unlike the She-Thor that we have, where she just was super powerful and knew how to do pretty much everything. Even though she didn't know anything about it, she was always able to put it to the most spectacular feats and do things that Thor couldn't. No, Eric Masterson was limited by his knowledge and capabilities of it and was learning while on the job, and it showed. So there was a period of time with that, and then he created his own book, Thunderstrike, and that Thunderstrike book there I was talking about, he gets he gets a mace, if you will, his version of a hammer, and once again, it doesn't overpower the original Thor, Odinson. It's actually less powerful, and he's fighting the same villains. So there's an alternative there. Maybe check out some older issues of Captain America. Maybe do it when he quit being Captain America and he was on his solo ventures. That's a very good time for Captain America. But there's a lot of great Captain America books that you can get for a good price. So check out your local comic stores for the back issues, because a lot of times you can work out deals with them. If you buy a pretty big pile of back issues, they're going to give you a discount if you ask them. You say, hey, if I spend $50, can I get a discount? So instead of dropping that $50 on $3.99 issues that do nothing but piss you off because they're garbage, maybe use some of that money for that. Or dare I say, use some of that money to buy some back issues, and while you're at buying those back issues, buy some for somebody else. Buy some to help grow the market. Get some for somebody that might be interested in reading comics. You might get their interest, and then they can start by reading the back issues to play catch up. I've always been one of those people when somebody goes, where do I start reading this book? I say issue 1. People are like, well, that's ridiculous. It's, I said, yeah, but you might think so, but what other way to really truly know the character and learn and read their growth? It's like picking up a book and saying, let's start at chapter 6. I understand sometimes it's harder to go back once, especially, when the character's got a long history, but that is the way I prefer. And if they won't do that, I can understand selecting certain runs. But that's the way I like it. So if somebody goes Spider-Man, hey, go pick up an Essential Spider-Man or something. Get number 1 and start right from number 1. Read about that character, how he really was, because then you can truly compare to what the character is today. Because otherwise, you're like a lot of those people, oh, you just don't like this because it's blah, blah, blah. No, you've read the character. You know that the crap that was written by Dan Slott for the last decade, for most of the part, was not how Peter Parker is. With a few rare issues here and there, it was, decent. So, we really, then you have something to go on. Most of the time, I tell you, I get in a discussion with somebody and they try to pull that crap, well, you don't know this and that. It's like, really? Have you read all the issues? Usually you find out, no. And that's right there. It says, how do you know that then? That's why I have a different opinion than you. It's because I've read the character. Just like Captain Marvel. I'm not a fan of what they've done with Captain Marvel. Not necessarily the physical attributes. I like the new costume. I hate how the hair is done. And when I say physical attributes, I don't mean drawing her like a man either. As long as they draw her like a woman and you put her in that costume, I'm fine with it. But she's not in character. Not at all. Yes, the book originally started with a lot of feministisms to it, but that was quickly sort of pushed away a little bit. They kept the feminist attitude in a way, the empowered attitude, which is fine. She's a powerful character and should be having some level of confidence in that. So they just left a lot of that out and changed her character significantly to fit a narrative. And that's one of the problems Marvel's been having, is they've been sacrificing character. It's raining out, that's what the noise is. They've been sacrificing character to fit a narrative. Spider-Man for nearly 10 years has been unrecognizable as Peter Parker because that wasn't the narrative they wanted to fit. Whether that narrative is a big story arc or it's focusing on ideology, we're getting a mix of that. Marvel hasn't learned their lesson. So take those Marvel dollars, put it towards back issues of stuff that you would enjoy, maybe Marvel back issues even, and the market will eventually force Marvel to make changes, because unless Disney's okay with their company being nothing more than a testing ground for movies and a failure, which it seems like what they are doing right now, then they're going to eventually want to change. No company wants to operate a company at a loss consistently. They want to make money. So they're going to eventually have to listen, which means they will have to eventually clean house. But in order to do that, we must make it happen. I'm going to give you an example. Many years ago, I was in retail. And this was a long time ago. And I was working in retail, and there was a vending machine, and people would buy soda pop out of it. Now, I'm not a soda pop drinker, so that didn't impact me. But a lot of people are. And so this vending machine, people would come during their lunch break, and they'd buy a soda pop. And one day they raised the price. I think it was a quarter. No, it wasn't even a quarter because it was back quite a while ago. It might have been 10 cents or something like that. Okay, yeah, I'm old. And anyway, all the employees were grumbling. And it's like, why are you guys grumbling? They're like, well, they raised the price. And so I said, well, stop buying it. They're like, but we want to. You're thirsty. I said, you work in a retail store. Go out to the floor and buy it. It's cheaper. All right? You're paying the convenience cost. I said, if nobody buys soda pop from that machine, and this is, I know it's a boycott, and I'm not a favor of boycotts, really. I said, if nobody buys it, though, they're going to bring the price point back, because they're going to actually be making less money by raising the price. Because that's what Marvel has been doing consistently. They can blame all the other factors they want, but the lower their sales are, the more it costs per issue to make. And so what they've done, as the sales continue to drop, they just raise the price. and that's to maintain the same minimum income they want to make. So, you know, expect that. It's going to go up again if they can't get sales up. And we've got to say, hey, we're not going to buy it like this. We're not going to buy crap that we don't want, especially at a price that we don't want. Instead, let's hit those back issues. Let's still support those comic shops. Hit the back issues. And now, on top of that back issues, you can usually find some for a good deal. You get to start exploring. You know, remember the days when you could afford to buy a couple comics and one or two might be a miss, and it's like, well, I only spent a little bit. Nowadays, it's, you know, it's so expensive you can't do that. Well, you have that affordability sometimes by hitting the back issues. You might find the ability there to try something that you normally wouldn't have tried, and you might just find something new that you like. Well, there you have it. That's my thoughts. What are your thoughts? What should you be doing with that money that you're no longer spending on Marvel because their books are currently sucking? Maybe with a rare few exceptions. Let me know in the comments section. I'd be happy to hear it. And thank you for listening to me ramble in the rain while I drive to work. Until next time, keep it frugal.